fifth position. Up at the front, of course, is Nigel Mansell. He is now on his 57th lap. There he is, running reliably and true.
And they're playing with their boost a bit up the front, I think. It's my only explanation. And Stefan Johansson is in the pits. Johansson having a set of tyres. So that will put Prost up in a fourth place anyway, as it indeed has done. So up front, Mansell is holding his gap with Marc Scherer, but it's bouncing about a bit. At the moment it's some 15 seconds. It was a bit more a few minutes ago, and it's got a bit less, but I strongly suspect that they're now, or particularly Nigel Mansell, is turning his boost down or trying to adjust his speed to Marc Scherer to keep his lead comfortable without, of course, overdoing his use of fuel.
And Alain Prost, of course, with Johansson there, not only in the pits, but I would sure out of the race, like Alboreto. Alain Prost is in fourth position, 3 points. That means to say that the World Championship is now more than truly riveted for Alain Prost, provided he can stay at minimum where he is now. For the rest of the race, we're on lap 57. There's 18 laps to go, including the lap that he's on. Nigel Mansell now 15 seconds nearly ahead of Marc Scherer, who is reliable. There's Mansell coming through to complete his 57th lap over the line now. And Marc Scherer is that 15 seconds behind Mansell now. Senna is 7 seconds behind Sura in third place, and 23 seconds ahead of Prost in fourth position, with De Angelis now fifth. Keke Rosberg up to sixth position, so both the Williams Hondas are in the points, because with the disappearance of Stefan Johansson, Rosberg is back in the points. He's got ahead of Jacques Lafitte, who is down to seventh, and in eighth position is Lafitte's teammate Philippe Streff, who has been lapped. Boutsen is in ninth position, Patrese is 10th, John Watson is up to 11th, Gerhard Berger is in 12th position, and everybody up to Lafitte, who is 7th, has been lapped. Well, now the interest with seemingly the World Championship clinched for Alain Prost, provided he keeps going. But the McLaren has been incredibly reliable all season. Prost has only failed to finish twice, and in Estoril it was his fault and not the car's, because he spun off in the wet. There is Nigel Mansell into his 59th lap. What a wonderful race he's driven.
Well, the tremendous charge that we've seen from Alain Prost, I think, sadly, from a spectator's point of view, is over. He seems to have slowed it down, and there's no reason for him to go any faster, and I think he's going to settle for a steady fourth place, which will ensure in the championship. He's had too many frights over the last 3 years when the pressure's been too much for him, and he's made mistakes. This year he's looked a different person. He's been, whereas in the past the pressure seemed to crumble him and he never looked comfortable, this year his normally composed bearing has, if anything, got stronger and more resolute as the pressure's increased, so he doesn't look like making any mistakes now.
And he'll be watching the man ahead of him very carefully, because Riccardo Patrese in the green and red Alfa Romeo with the yellow wheels has got a bit of a reputation for being a blocker and even for taking people off. And with Johansson back in the race now, a full lap behind Alain Prost, and well, certainly more than a lap, and he's dropped well down the field. And there is Lafitte out of the race, out of the car, out of the race. All of a sudden, the famous Prost luck is working for him, because he's gained another place without passing anybody. Jacques Lafitte, I'm sorry, was behind Prost. I'd forgotten he'd slipped down through the race, but he was a big threat to Prost the way he was going. That threat has now been removed, wherein what is going to be a race of reliability now with about 15 to go.
Except that Ayrton Senna is closing up a little bit on Marc Surer. He is some 6 seconds behind him, and he could conceivably catch him and start attacking before the end of the race.
Yeah, I'm finding it very interesting that Prost is not getting past Patrese, whose Alfa Romeo is certainly not the package in terms of handling and performance that the McLaren is, and that's giving Elio De Angelis the chance to get closer to Prost and hopefully to regain his 4th position.
Yes, that's absolutely right, Murray, but of course Prost doesn't want to take any risk at all. He doesn't mind if De Angelis passes him, because by coming 5th he still wins the championship, which is his sole concern. And Riccardo Patrese, who is the most accomplished taker-offer of other cars in the business, and has been for many years, is not the sort of entanglement that Prost wants to get involved in now.
Riccardo Patrese up behind Thierry Boutsen in the Arrows. Boutsen is in 8th position, Patrese is 9th. Alain Prost, of course, is in 4th position, and virtually a full lap ahead of the Alfa Romeo in the race. And there in flames is the Zach Speed of Christian Danner. They've had a lot of engine trouble with the Zach Speed turbocharged engine in practice and in previous races. This is Danner's 2nd Grand Prix, the 1985 Formula 3000 champion, and he's out. And still Prost is not doing anything about Patrese, and still De Angelis will be catching him. There he is, Elio De Angelis. As James says, Prost will not be too rattled, even if he finishes in 5th position, to get those vital 2 points. But there's going to be a danger for Prost with De Angelis trying to get past him and Patrese making it difficult for Prost to get past him. So Alain Prost will have to really tiptoe around the circuit and watch the car in front of him and the car behind him very carefully indeed to avoid being taken off. And it is lap 62 out of 75. Mansell still leads, still no tyre change. Surer is still 2nd. 3rd is Senna. 4th is Prost.
I have to say that I don't fully agree with Prost's tactics. I think that his excessive defensiveness, I think he'd be better off getting past this bunch and getting away from them, because you run a risk whenever you're surrounded by other cars, and you're much better off on your own. And I think really that if I was in his place, I'd maybe try and pass them and just get away, because he's got 2 quick people bearing down on him. Johansson in the newly reshod Ferrari with fresh tyres on, and that's a bit of a good sight.
And it's Marc Surer who is 2nd. That's the 2nd of the Brabhams. Piquet went out much earlier, of course, and now the BMW, or the turbo, has blown, and this is fire extinguisher time, and it's out of the car time for Marc Surer, who was 2nd. So back in 2nd position is Senna. Up to 3rd place goes Prost. In 4th position now, it's De Angelis catching Prost. In 5th position now, it's Rosberg. In 6th position, it is Streff.
Yes, well, of course, now that Prost, or as soon as Prost becomes aware of that development, he won't know by driving past that it was Marc Surer from 2nd place, therefore moving him up. But in fact, now what he could do, the alternative to try to pass this lot, he could just slow right down and let them go. But he would be better off, I would think, on a clear circuit instead of being in the screw.
Yeah, there's a signal just gone out to Prost, but it would have been too soon for them, I'm sure, to have let him know that Surer is out of the race. They've got television monitors on the pit's wall, and they're watching readout information and race pictures.
See, the problem for Prost is that these 3 cars in front of him are fighting away, and if they touch, incidentally, Stefan Johansson, who was going so quickly, has gone back into the pits. But if those 3 cars in front, in their own battle, have a coming together, they could well take the others off. And that, I would guess, is Keke Rosberg coming behind, or is it Nigel Mansell? It's Rosberg, and Rosberg can pass Prost. He's on the same lap.
Yes, just listen to this. Mansell leads, Williams Honda. Senna is 2nd, Prost is 3rd, and Rosberg is right behind the Marlboro McLaren in 4th.